Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
All right, welcome to another great edition of Freed on Business. We're now on episode 776. High five to Mr. Mendoza for keeping it fresh every week. I can't thank you enough for that, Mr. Mendoza. Regan Mendoza, I want to thank him so much for helping me look good. We just came up with the green screen. You can see I don't pixelate around my head anymore. Isn't that amazing? Get the green screen. If you do a lot of Zooms, it's amazing. It really makes you look professional. Today's show is going to be about the evolution of the real estate industry. I've been getting a lot of phone calls from people about what's going on in the industry, what should they do, how should they approach it, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I want to thank, as always, our sponsors at Warren Henry Automotive. They've been our sponsors for, 12, 13 years. I can't thank Eric, Larry, Ismet, the whole team over at Warren Henry. Always makes me feel wonderful. I got a call today, or yesterday actually, from the folks setting up my service. It was so wonderful. They made me feel great. They always do. Always the best price, always the best service, always family at Warren Henry. And now we'll talk about our show. Today, our show is going to be about what do you do? The real estate industry is evolving. What do you do now? It's really something that you should be doing every single day of your life. You should be watching what's going on in the world and in the industry and seeing how you can change and evolve, because nothing is static. Nothing stays the same. If you stay the same, you're going to lose out every single time. We know that now the real estate industry has 6, maybe 7 quarters of contraction. By any definition, that's a recession. Is it the worst recession I've seen in my career? I don't know. We'd have to go back to the RTC recession. That was the early 90s. So that's at least 30 years. That's a whole lifetime, if not a career, for most of the people that call me and talk to me that are younger. So we're going to talk to those people today about what they should do and what they should be thinking about. The first thing you do is you don't panic. The second thing you do is stop doing what you were doing, because it's obviously not working. The third thing you do is you network and you call everybody and find out what's going on. You're not alone. Lots of people are having challenges. Earlier today, I was on the phone with a person that I believe is an absolute expert in office space. 5 years ago, we would have been talking about buying the office buildings that we were discussing. Lots of upside, great seller financing, wonderful locations. Today, suicide run. Totally changed. And these are well-leased office buildings in great locations with seller financing. But the issue is that they have a lot of tenancy ballooning at the end of the seller financing. So the seller is just giving you a little bit of a cigarette before you get shot at daylight there. So we said no on that. And I'm going to stick to my guns and keep shying away from office. There are certain circumstances where office makes sense. There are certain locations where office makes sense. There's certain structures where office makes sense. But I still think that there needs to be a little bit more discovery on price in office. So people in office need to be thinking about new ways to do their business. Retail was kicked to the curb, but now seems to be strong in certain locations and certain setups. Multifamily is still good, but do you want to buy 30 or 40 units at a time, or do you want to buy a 200-unit project? The answer is, I don't know. It all depends on what your goals and objectives are, how much free time you have on your hand. So the real thing is you've got to evolve. I've evolved. A lot of the different things and things that people need to do when they evolve is they just need to broaden their horizons. Maybe they need to start helping people get financing, get equity investors, change product types. Real estate's a mentorship business. Maybe if you're stuck in a rut, you need to find somebody that can be your mentor in a different product type. So let's take a look at what's going on. Some of the big companies are seeing musical chairs at the top. That creates opportunities for people that are new to the team. Perhaps you can elevate yourself and become a product type leader if the product type leader moves on to a different firm. Maybe you need to move on to a smaller firm where you could be the big fish in a smaller pond. The main thing is that it still is a mentorship business. It's still about relationships. It's still about networks. Increase and expand your network. We talked about that on one of our last shows about continuing to network, getting out there and doing it and shaking hands. Also some of these big firms are going to do some cost cutting. So you've got to be ready to start fronting some of your own expenses, perhaps a little bit more. There are bad stories about the last recession where it was even tough to find a tablet or a pencil in the office. Interest rates went up, they stayed up. That's made it very difficult for people to understand what the exit cap rates are going to be. So again, there's a little bit of a freeze as people are trying to determine what's going on. And have we seen all the pain? Well, I talked earlier about how we were talking about office buildings. The consensus on that phone call was we may not have seen all the pain yet. We may see more deals, which is why the buildings that we were looking at are on the market in the first place, because what they are is they're being marketed by value-add investors that are looking to take cash off the table and roll it into new value-add deals. Are they leaving enough skin on the bone for the next purchaser? I don't know. Neither does the next purchaser, which means that's why the deals aren't selling. No sales, no velocity, no transactions, no commissions. Hard times in the real estate industry. So what are you going to do? You're going to broaden your horizons, do some consulting. I've taken on a number of consulting assignments, but the most important thing I've done is I've kept in touch with my biggest and most active customers and clients, and they continue to move, they continue to operate, they continue to see deals, and they continue to need me to help them finance and capitalize those transactions. And I'm blessed to have that type of relationship with these people. So I guess the first thing you need to do is make a list of your top 25 people. Who are your top 25 people and why? Some should be capital, some should be acquisitions, some should be owners, maybe they're even brokers. And you call them and you ask them what's going on. Ask them how they can help you, you should really be offering to them that you can help them, and then seeing how they might be able to help you. And never reject outreach from a younger person who wants to shadow you or learn from you, because you'd be, I don't want to say surprised, but you'd be amazed at how effective the young person can be in helping you bring new tools to your kid. In fact, the young person that I've been mentoring this summer, we're going to offer him a job. He's been so tremendous and effective. I just love the young people and how they keep me young and vital and keep pushing me forward, which is another cue. If you need to start mentoring a younger person, you'd be amazed to see how effective that is in totally renewing and lighting your fire. And let's talk a little bit about the financial markets right now. The banks, a lot of them are having some challenges. The larger community banks have perhaps a little bit too much real estate in their portfolio. They may need to be selling some of those loans. We've seen some of the regionals and super regionals sell portfolios of loans and then go back into the market. I'm working with one of those right now. I've also got an amazing construction loan that I'm working on from one of the money center banks, but they're not really out there in the marketplace. This is a very unique situation. So look for those unique situations. How do you find them? You just keep calling. I can't tell you how many cold calls I've made since the beginning of the year, probably 1,000, and to a lot of people that I have almost no LinkedIn connection with. So broadening horizons. So who's at most risk? We're going to talk about that, and we're going to come back with our final thought. We're going to talk about who's at most risk and what you can do to cover yourself as the market changes. Mr. Mendoza, take it away, but stick with us, folks. I've got the best part coming up. I love the new videos Mr. Mendoza's brought in. We're going to start using those in our opens and closes and also on some of our other stuff that we do. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry Automotive. It's summertime. They've been our sponsors for 12, 13 years. I kind of lose track. I want to thank them for being with us and for making sure that we're continuing to be on the air at all times. And remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and Lincoln up at 151st and Biscayne, Gainesville. They got those great Audi cars. I love them. Down in the Keys, they sell everything. And in South Dade and West Broward, they've got their award-winning Land Rover, Range Rover stores. What do they all have in common? Well, they all come with great cars and the Warren Henry advantage. They treat you like family. They make it feel good. It's the ownership experience that they give you. That's the difference at Warren Henry. So Remember, join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, and a lot of my clients and friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. And now back for the final thought. All right, and now for the final thought. Actually, there's a couple of components in the final thought this time. First, who's at risk? The person that's most at risk isn't necessarily the person on the top of the stack at the big company. They can always leave, take their clients with them, and probably double their commissions, and maybe they see their deal flow cut in half, but they'd still have their clients. The person at the bottom that they're bringing in, well, that person's cheap. So they really don't have much of an exposure. The person that's got the exposure is the person in the middle. The middle manager is always the person that goes. The person that's in the middle that costs too much and isn't as efficient as the young person coming in, or as efficient as the person at the top because they know everybody, that's the person at risk. If you're the person in the middle, I'd start looking to the left and looking to the right and trying to find out what I'm going to do. The most important part of this entire podcast today is to just stick with it. Just stick with it. Believe in yourself. That's the most important part. If you don't believe in yourself, everybody's going to smell it and they're not going to have anything to do with you. They're going to be terrified of you. They're going to think that you're going to bring something in that's going to be disruptive. Be flexible. Stay open-minded. Don't follow your ego. Follow the opportunities. I once was offered a job at what I consider to be a second-tier real estate company. Boy, was I wrong. People there made lots of money, and I went out on my own. I was fine. But, if you have an opportunity, take it. Don't let your ego stand in the way. Project that positivity, be creative, and don't stop networking. The solution to what your future is your network. And just when you think you shouldn't call somebody, that's when you should call them. Just when you think they're not going to pick up the phone, that's when they're going to pick up the phone. Because I got a secret for you, and this is what we're going to end with. Everybody is having a dynamic time. And if you call with positive energy and a creative solution and tell them something you heard that was great that somebody else just told you, you're going to make a step forward. And remember, it's just going to be incremental until it's not. So remember, this is the best part right now. The person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. Boy, isn't that the bottom line this week? God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And now some more great video from Mr. Mendoza.